Well, hello everybody. It's Monday, February 14th. So, for those that celebrate Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day if you don't celebrate Valentine's Day. So, yeah, enjoy the day. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I think it's a stupid day, honestly. Um, that's my opinion. Yeah, I'm single, so what? But I've been in a few relationships, but I don't feel like talking about that. No, don't to say like finding people today is difficult. Let me just say out there, like I'm a trans woman, and when you are trans, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that has been experiencing this, it can be very difficult to find people to date, honestly. And I have my personality and things that I like to do, and it becomes super duper difficult. Especially when you don't meet the norm of femininity, because I'm a strong woman, I lift weights, big, I'm strong, so like finding people that feel comfortable dating me is difficult. I'm not going to say I used to have a boyfriend before. I guess I don't want to talk about, but like I used to have a boyfriend years ago, a few years ago, and it was the great relationship that I have had with a guy. And unfortunately, things ended, so I haven't dated anybody else since then. Um, it's just, I don't know, not having time, focusing with life, and just haven't been interested in dating anybody, honestly. I met people, I've been trying to talk to people online, but it hasn't been working. But like, it's complicated today. It's anybody who's trans can probably agree on that. That finding people today can be very difficult, and so yeah. Anyway, so I'm heading to work, and what I want to talk about, what I want the purpose of this video to be about, it's not about relationships. It's not about dating. Like I said, I haven't dated anybody since me and my ex-boyfriend broke up, and that was 2018. So yeah, close to 3 years ago almost. So yeah, so I haven't, just the pandemic has made it difficult. Wrestling has made it a little bit more difficult. Yeah, wrestling gets in the way. Something I like, but like wrestling is a sacrifice, honestly. Not many people understand that, and when you're dating somebody, if they're too clingy, this relationship is not going to work. But like I said, I don't want to talk about relationships. That's another episode. But and I have said way more than I wanted to say. So yeah, I am not dating anybody. That noise in my car doesn't sound good. That's probably my rotors or something. Sounds really off. I need to check that side. The fan need to check that side. Anyway, it does sound awful. Damn it! I'll check that later. Anyway, so yeah, more car troubles. Car troubles never ends. That's one thing. At least I can fix some of the things. I can do my own rotors and brake pads. I do my own oil change. But that noise I don't like at all, honestly. Especially if it's something too complicated to fix. I'm concerned about that. But hopefully it will not be. Anyway, it'll be just ice a little bit because it's been a cold morning today, so it's a little bit icy out there. Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, even though I talk about 3 minutes about like relationships, damn it, really, I didn't want to go into the bias of talking about relationships, honestly. Fudge. Anyway, yeah, I will talk about relationships in a different video, but not right now. Today I want to talk about jobs in manufacturing that pay less than retail. I know why. Okay, so I work at Walmart. I work in the online grocery shopping sector. It's, if you know how to use a computer, if you pay attention, you can do this job. It's not a difficult job. But I like manufacturing, and I used to think that manufacturing was paying more money than retail. And recently, I have come to find out that that is not necessarily true. Sometimes, and I have interviewed last year and for manufacturing positions, and sometimes the pay rate offered it's less than what I'm earning at Walmart. And true, I work for online grocery shopping, so that one pays more than most positions at Walmart. But I get paid 17 an hour, and I have interviewed for some manufacturing jobs, and they want to pay less. It's more sad when I was talking to my friend at Monroe, the company that I used to work as an automotive technician. At the time I was working, I was earning $13.50 an hour. My friend gets paid $15 an hour, so I'm earning more than an automotive technician, which is really sad. Because as an automotive technician, you have to go to training. You have to have a certain knowledge. You have to use your brain so you don't screw up somebody's car. It's more technical. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to have a certain level of knowledge about things. And unfortunately, $15 an hour is a joke. It's less than what I'm earning at Walmart for putting groceries in somebody's car when they arrive to pick up their groceries. It's sad. And there are other companies that I interviewed. Like there was this company called Anti-Electric, and I like electricity, and I wanted to get it to that company, to work for that company. But when it came to the pay rate, it was less than what I was earning at Walmart. And also, the company was farther away from where I live, from where the Walmart that I work is. And when I asked for more money, they told me, no, we can't do that, yada yada. And then another company that I interviewed, they were like, well, this is an entry-level job. And my counter argument was like, well, Walmart is an entry-level job. And that tells me something. That tells me something that number one, that really one of the issues that why people are not getting workers is because they are paying shitty wages. Shitty wages saying that will make workers seek employment somewhere else instead of your company. And unfortunately, it's true. And that's a problem, And the fact that bothers me is like sometimes manufacturers brag like, oh, we cannot find skilled workers, yada yada. I mean, considering that sometimes they want to pay so very little money, it's just like, because you want to pay very little money. I remember a few years ago, I was getting paid $12.50 an hour to work in a company called Geyer and Bloom, and they were only paying $12.50 an hour. And I was still having a hard time making ends meet, You do the math, the calculation, that is very little money. And these are jobs that they want you to have certain skill, but they just don't seem to want to pay you. And that's why I've been moving around with most companies, with most jobs. When people look at my resume, yes, I've been jumping from job to job, which I have no problem with that, because I think jumping from job to job is okay, because you can figure out what you like, what you don't like, and you learn a little bit from every company that you work with before. But my reason for jumping is because I've been looking for more opportunities to grow, for a higher pay rate, and more of a learning something more. Because right now, even though I have been in this job for a year, I feel like I'm getting stuck, that my knowledge has plateaued. I haven't learned anything different. I haven't developed any other skills that will help me get something better long term. I'm not writing. Sometimes there are jobs that require me to write stuff, so I'm not writing. So I'm not practicing that skill that I learned because I went to school. I can write papers. I can write research papers, especially because of my master's degree. But I'm not writing that. I'm not practicing that because my job in retail doesn't need me to do those things. communication, explaining people things. The only communication skill that sometimes is like, excuse me, where's my order? That's it. Phone calls that people call you hungry, asking for the groceries, asking you where they can find a particular item. That's it. There's no too much communication involved. And there's also not too many use of my engineering skills. Like, I have engineering skills, design skills that I haven't used in years. Mostly because I haven't been working as an engineer, but also because my job doesn't allow me to work to earn money, honestly. So I am very not having a lot of skills. I'm not using a lot of the skills that I learned, and that to me is upsetting. It is a problem, because if I want to search for a different job, I am lagging behind on some of the skills that I should have at this point develop further, And unfortunately, there's no way. Like even though I've been putting a book that is how you have to take control, charge, learn, and yada yada. Unfortunately, there's no way that I can easily fix this, because the jobs that I've been getting, the jobs that people are considering me, are jobs that don't require the skills that I want to get. And so I feel stuck. I feel really stuck at my job, where I want to go, And it makes me rethink, okay, so I'm still doing wrestling, which is something I love. There's nothing wrong with that. Where I want to go, what can I do to get to where I want to go? And I don't have an answer to that. And it's sad that I don't have an answer. And I should have an answer to that. But I don't. I don't have an answer to that. It's like, so maybe I need to find a way to become happy with what I have. But, fuck, I'm crying, damn it. But to be honest, like, retail wasn't what I wanted to do with my life. I'm tired of working these hours that I'm working. I know I can be doing something more, and I know I still have a little bit of a passion for environmental engineering, because when I watch documentaries on TV, it's like, holy shit, I could be helping on that. I think there might be a way to help those people that are in need of like water, or like what can we do to solve the problem of like trash or waste going to countries where it shouldn't be going. Like, for example, one of the biggest issues at retail stores, discarding used clothing that they cannot sell, So makes me wonder, makes me think like, what can we be doing different, in the world out there, Because waste is a problem, The way that we do solve waste in here in the United States, like we send it to a landfill, we bury it. Like Albany, if you're driving on I-90, and you're going west on I-90, when you get out of Albany on I-90, you look to your right, you see a mountain in there. It's a mountain of trash. It reminds me of when I was younger in Puerto Rico, when we used to visit my grandfather. And now I think there is a sign that says "Welcome to Puerto Rico" or "Welcome to San Juan" or whatever it is. But there's a mountain of trash in San Juan, right across from the Plaza Las Americas, which is the biggest mall in San Juan, Puerto Rico. When you look across, there's a mountain of trash. And I remember when we were visiting my grandfather, I would see that trucks like dumping waste in there. Because we humans have decided that we have to bury the waste. We haven't come up with a better idea to dispose of our waste. It's sad. It's totally, completely sad when you think about it. And I make the joke of like explaining people, well, so like, because landfills are designed, and there are laws that have happened about landfills, on how you design a landfill and you layer, because you cannot So you cannot let the waste get wet because otherwise it can contaminate the aquifers, the underground water. So you have to put a layer. And what layer you put? You use you create a layer of like clay, and then you put a liner, which is pretty much a, if you think of a liner, it's a plastic liner, but it's very thick. But to make people understand, think of it as a plastic bag, black plastic bag that you put on top of the earth, pretty much. Gigantic bag, plastic bag. Then you fill it with waste and dirt, waste and dirt, waste and dirt, until which we call the design height. And then when it reaches the design height, you put another plastic bag on top to prevent water from reaching the waste. And then you cover it with dirt, so you make it look like a freaking mountain, so that way people don't know that waste is buried over there. So yeah, that's how you design a landfill. And unfortunately, like even if you try to increase recycling depends on markets, whether people will have the capabilities, and sometimes we don't. In the United States, manufacturing has gone, and I don't want to say something that is not true, but I feel like manufacturing has gone down in the United States. And like I look at some companies that I have worked, and it's like, why do they have humans still doing this job? Why cannot they automate the process so that way there's more efficiency? You can produce more things faster instead of having a human doing the job. So we have lots of manufacturers who have lost the opportunity to use certain recyclables. Like in my apartment complex, they don't take glass for recycling, which is unfortunate. So again, this is a market thing. Recycling is a market thing. There has to be a market for the materials, because pretty much that's what it is. It's a material. But if there's not a market, what's the point of recycling? And there's been documentaries too that have talked about that. So how much gets recycled, how much ends up eventually going to a landfill? You think you are recycling it, you want to feel good about it because you think that material is going to be recycled and it's not going to end up in a landfill and yada yada. And the reality is that you're just putting it in the recycling bin, and eventually, because there's a market, it will end up in a landfill. That's the biggest blunder. Even me, I feel bad about it because I know about that as an engineer, and it just makes me sad. It just makes me really, really sad. It's like, wow, yeah. So it's one of those things that makes me sad, honestly. And I've worked for the government, and as an engineer, environmental engineer, the government work, it's okay. But I'm more of like a person that I would love to design more, that I would love to do things, and that's why I always wanted to get into consulting, into design. Government, you are just sometimes just like reviewing what somebody else did to make sure that it complies with applicable regulations. But to me, it's not as exciting. I like to come up with the idea, I like to design, I like to do the calculations coming up. I would love to get a job like that where I'm designing more, where I'm solving problems. Even manufacturing I like, because you have to come up with an idea and then you design you make things. Maybe I should have got into, I feel like I should have got into construction, but instead I got into chemical engineering, which is still fun, like chemistry. I like cooking, and to me cooking is chemistry. You are taking some materials and converting into changing their properties, like rice, chicken, when you do the sauces for the food that you cook. So to me, I enjoy cooking because it's almost like being in a lab. But that's my perspective, and I don't know if anybody else see that cooking like that. But I do see cooking like chemistry. Cooking is chemistry. Chemistry is cooking. And baking, when I'm adding the materials in there, like people, oh yeah, come and work for this company, we make vitamin premixes. Oh yeah, you need to understand. It's like, yeah, I'm a chemical engineer, I know how this works. I can tell you what you do in a smaller scale, because it's simple enough that I can do it. But yeah, and then I'm qualified for some other jobs. Like I applied to chemical operator job in a company called Biodevelopment. I applied to a chemical operator job and I didn't even got called for an interview. I applied for quality assurance technician, which I will totally enjoy that position, but I also didn't got an interview. I have applied to this company called Regeneron multiple times. I never get called for an interview. So I do feel stuck. I do feel like people want to push me into retail, and I hate retail. I'm not happy working in retail. I could care less about retail. I could care less if a customer don't find something. I could care less about retail. I don't like working in retail. Yeah, I get it. You make a product, eventually will reach out the shops and yada yada. Something will reach out the shelves, but that's not me. I just don't like that. Because the nature of the job of retail is just putting things in there, making sure that they're put in there for the customer to access. There's nothing fancy, there's nothing that makes my brain work, that makes my brain exciting. And I think that's the problem that I'm having. I enjoy more wrestling, I enjoy more making videos on YouTube. To me, that is exciting. Because I get my brain firing up. Oh, I think this is funny. I think I'm going to make a video about this. Like today, not that I'm making this video, but I also made a video about what if a clown is heartbroken. It's on my YouTube channel. You can watch the video. It's a short probably. I made that video and that made me happy. That made me want to use my brain. But the rest of the stuff that I do, I hate it. It's boring. I want something else. If I could quit this job because I have money, I will do so immediately. But unfortunately, I don't have money. I'm poor. So till then, I have to work at Walmart. And here I am at Walmart, about to go to work. Bye everybody. Stay safe. Enjoy the day. And remember, like Walter Mercado used to say, peace to everybody, but better than peace, lots and lots of love.